Welcome to Becoming Limitless. This is the podcast for entrepreneurs who want to optimize their brain and their body with biohacking. I'm going to teach you how to eliminate brain fog and upgrade your health so you can have more productivity, energy, and growth in your business. I'm your host, Tanessa Shears. Let's jump in. Welcome back to the Becoming Limitless podcast. I hope you have had a fantastic week so far. This episode today is meant to be something that is going to make eating healthier much more consistent, and the whole goal of this episode is to give you an array of ideas of things you can take off of your plate, so to speak. Actually, no pun intended, but that was a good pun. But things you can take off of your plate to help you eat healthier, and it doesn't take a ton more time, because I have been in this industry, the fitness and health industry, since 2008. I have tried everything from bodybuilding to powerlifting. I've done weight loss. I've done muscle gain. I've done the broccoli, chicken, and rice diet, the force feeding myself, the intuitive eating, the whole foods eating. I've literally tried it all. And what I realized after trying all of these things is that health isn't always about the things you do, but a lot of it is about the things you don't do. And so in this episode, my goal is to share with you all of the things that I have learned over the last 14 or so years that have helped take the drama out of eating healthy and eliminate all of that stop-start dieting by just making it really simple and sustainable. So these are all things that have worked great for me. And if you do go on Instagram, I guarantee you're going to find some other nutrition or health expert that will have an opposing opinion. So that's why I say that these are the strategies that have worked great for me and as well have worked really great for my clients. So I hope that they work really well for you too, because the goal in this is to get you consistent at eating healthy, whole foods so that you have stable energy and you have clear, focused thinking so that when you show up to your desk, you're able to stay focused and get everything done you need to in a day, so you're not taking your business home into your family time, or maybe you're so exhausted at the end of the day that you just feel overwhelmed and you don't have the energy to spend your evenings the way you want, whether that be with your family or taking care of a pet or whatever it might be that you fill your evenings with. I want you to have the energy that you need, and that comes down to how productive we are with our day and how much energy we can sustain. So without further ado, I do want to actually point out before we start that this whole podcast was inspired by an Instagram post that got a lot of love. I will link it in the show notes if you want to pop onto Instagram and hit save so that you can have it as kind of like a written form or like a cliff notes of this podcast. You'll have that there. But what are we talking about today? We are talking about the 11 things that I don't do that have helped me consistently eat healthy whole foods for years and years. So let's jump in. Number one is that I do not calorie count or have MyFitnessPal downloaded. I don't plan on calorie counting for the rest of my life, so I don't do it now. I went through a phase in my bodybuilding day where I knew every single calorie that was coming in and out because that's how I thought the body worked. I thought, well, everyone says move more, eat less. So if I just religiously track all of my exercise and all of my calories, then magically I should probably start losing weight, right? Well, what I have learned in subsequent research, and I mean, I have dived very deep on this, and if you reach out to me, DM me on Instagram, I can share a whole bunch of books on this, but the quality of the food matters as well. I mean, yes, if you just want to lose weight and do it in an unsustainable way, yeah, if you cut your calories, that'll work. However, I want to sustain it long term. So what that means is I understand that that more goes into living healthy than just calories. And I want the food to be good on my hormones. I want it to be good on my health. I don't want to develop disease down the road. So I find that when we start calorie counting, we get into this preoccupation with how much energy a food provides, instead of thinking like, what kind of nutrition does this food provide? So I don't calorie count because, to be honest, when I see myself at 50, 60, 70, I do not plan on pulling out my food scale and weighing my spinach and popping it into my MyFitnessPal or Calorie Counter app to tell me if I'm doing a good job or not. And yes, back in the bodybuilding days, I actually used to weigh spinach. And I can tell you that I am not in worse shape, or not do I have worse health because I am not calorie counting. So that's one of the things I live by, is that if I'm not planning to do it long term, I don't do it at all. And I know there are many people in the online space who, say calories in, calories out, you have to eat at a deficit. But from where I come from, and I'm looking at health and brain optimization, I care about more than what your body looks like on the outside. I care about how your brain performs. Do you have stable energy? Are you going to be disease-free 5-10 years from now? Is what you're doing sustainable? So because of that, I do not calorie count, and I don't put that on my plate as something that needs to be done every day in order to be eating healthy, because as soon as this habit becomes too much and you're like, I'm not calorie counting anymore, I'm not logging my food every day, well, then your healthy eating goes out the window. So I want to learn how to eat healthy just from looking at the foods and understanding how my body works and being consistent that way rather than relying on an app. The second thing that I don't do when it comes to my health is count my macros. And I know this goes very close into my first one with calorie counting, but to be honest, I don't have a clue what my macros are. And if you're not familiar with the term macros, basically there are 4 main categories of energy that come into our body: carbohydrates, protein, fat, and alcohol. So these are the categories of foods in which our body obtains energy from, so to speak. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are saying if it fits your macros, meaning if you eat according to how many grams of carbs and grams of protein and grams of fat that you should get in a day, it doesn't matter what you eat as long as it fits. But here's my problem with that. It does make a difference on your stability of your energy and on your hormones, whether you are eating 100 grams of carbohydrates that come from processed sugary cereal or from vegetables and, rice or quinoa or sweet potato or fruit, right? It's definitely different on how it interacts with your body. So I find that, in my personal opinion, where I strongly do not believe in if it fits your macros, is that it really creates a situation in which we believe that as long as we hit these target numbers of how many grams of protein and grams of fat and grams of carbohydrates that we should be getting in a day, then we are healthy. But that's not necessarily true. I feel like it really neglects this whole portion of the health industry, which really the quality of the food matters if you want a healthy body. If you just want a skinny body, then yeah, count your macros to lose weight, right? But I really look at everything as the whole. And the other thing I really don't enjoy about if it fits your macros is that feeling, if you've ever counted macronutrients before and added up your grams of protein and everything like that, when you're standing there at the end of the day and you're like, I have 12 grams of protein, 6 grams of fat, and 20 grams of carbs left. What could I possibly eat that would fit that in? And you're sitting there trying to make this math puzzle work, and you're adding foods and you're taking them off, and you're just like, I don't know how to do that. And I went over on this. I just find it creates so much unnecessary drama with food. What if the goal were just to look at your plate and be like, is there a healthy fat on here? Is there either an olive oil or something from a nut or a seed? Or is there something in here that is getting me healthy fats, like the fat from salmon or sardines? Then you look, is there protein on here? Am I getting grass-fed beef? Is there chicken on here? Am I getting salmon in here? Is there a protein source? And then also, is there a vegetable? Can I see something green on my plate? Or, whatever other color vegetable. There's purple, there's blue, there's all of these colors. So that is how I really like to gauge if I am having a balanced plate instead of having to plug everything into an app that just makes everything more difficult. So thing number 3 that I don't do is I do not mess with my sleep. Ever. What does this have to do with food? Well, when you have disrupted sleep, and that means if you're waking up 1, 2, 3 times a night, either to, stress out about our to-do list or to go to the washroom, or even like I am right now. I'm disrupted sleep right now. I am up with my baby a couple times a night still, but that is something that is out of my control. But if we are having disrupted sleep because of our sleep hygiene and the things we are doing before bedtimes, this is affecting your hormones. The same goes with short sleep. If you are getting less than 7 hours of sleep, remember that's not in bed. That is time in bed minus the awake time, which on average for the average person is about an hour per night. If you are getting disrupted sleep or less than 7 hours of sleep, it messes with the hormones that make you feel hunger or not hunger, or crave junk food or not crave food, or store fat or not store fat. So when you are getting this sleep that is not very effective, you crave junkier foods, you store way more of it as fat because insulin is not as sensitive when you are underslept, and you're hungry all the time, right? This just makes everything harder. If you are trying to eat healthy and you wake up from a disrupted sleep and your body is already geared to want the junk food, this just makes everything an uphill battle. I actually did a podcast episode, I think it would be 3 episodes back now, 2 or 3 episodes back, called my Fat Loss Secret Weapon Revealed or something like that. And the entire episode was about how sleep is key for regulating your blood sugar, which also helps with body fat loss. So if this is like, oh, maybe this is a missing piece for me, or maybe this is making everything harder, go back to that episode and listen in. It is such a good one. So I don't mess with my sleep, and that is something I don't do that has helped me eat consistently because I'm not battling my hormones the next day. Tip number 4, what I don't do. I do not skip my weekly meal planning ever. It is such a recipe for disaster. And I have talked with dozens and dozens of clients over the last couple of years. And I can tell you after watching clients and experiencing it myself, that if I do not have my meal planning system set up for that week, like I do not pick out my recipes, I don't make my grocery list, I don't go to the grocery store, I don't know when I'm cooking. If those things do not happen, what ends up happening is we kind of just eat what we feel like, or then we get really hangry and we just end up grabbing takeout, and then we end up not eating as well as we want. We get into the cycle of wondering like, why can't I be consistent? Well, it's just you haven't planned properly. And I have seen this through coaching so many of my clients, that when you get out of the routine of prepping, let's say you miss it one week and then you miss it another week, that is when things really start to fall apart. So for me, if I want consistent, healthy food in my fridge so that I can go in there and eat it regardless of what I'm feeling, and I don't have to, prepare a healthy meal, it is there waiting for me. If I don't do that, or if I see my clients don't do that, that is when things start to unravel. So I never skip this, because the second I do, things start falling apart. The 5th thing I do not do is I don't make food a source of joy in my life. Now, what I mean by that is I do not eat food to create feelings of connection, of bonding, of reward, of I deserve that. I also don't eat food to escape bad feelings like stress or frustration or anger. So when I look at food, I say, is this going to fuel my body? Yes or no. If it is whole foods, it fuels me. If it is not, it slows me down. So when I often will be working with clients, and what I will notice is what's getting them off track is they're like, oh, but it was a special occasion, or it was my birthday, or it was so-and-so's birthday, or it was a fancy restaurant we went to. And while I totally agree that there is space in our life for celebrations and joy and having, cake at weddings and stuff like that, when you actually look at our lives, and this especially comes around holiday times, whether that be barbecue time or Christmas time, we end up having one of those events every weekend or every couple of days. And it ends up just kind of becoming this thing where we feel really inconsistent because there's so many special events. So what I actually do is if I decide ahead of time, I look at the month ahead, my birthday's coming up, I'm going to enjoy some, food then, but the rest of the time I'm going to stick to eating healthy whole foods. So I don't use food to make the experience better than it is. Meaning I actually go to, a dinner out or a family event or Christmas just to enjoy being with my family. I don't do it to overfill myself on food and then feel good for like 5-10 minutes and then struggle with feeling bloated and tired for the next couple of days. Food is fuel to make my brain and body work better. I get my joy elsewhere. So for me, I get my joy from being present and connected with my family, from moving my body when I exercise, for going to walks first thing in the morning, or, from waking up from a really good night's sleep, or reading a really good book, or finding a new recipe. Like I get the joy in my life outside of food, and that has helped my consistency so much over the last 12 years. Now, number 6, I don't keep junk food in the house, because if it is there, it'll get eaten. And I know sometimes when we have partners or kids in the house that do like to eat the junk food and the stuff that we don't want to be eating, we do have to have a bit of compromise. So let's take it first. Why I don't like food in the house, the junk food in the house, is because I know firsthand that if it's there, either us or someone we will love will eat it. And I mean, I love my husband and I love my kids, and I really want them to be eating healthy whole foods so that they have clear energy and focused thinking, and they don't, have disease down the road. So I really do like for all of us to eat whole foods as much as possible. And so by not having it there, I ensure that my whole family is eating healthy. And I think that that's something that as a family we value a lot. Now, if you do have people, we can't control other people, especially our partners. Our kids maybe a little bit more. But if we can't control our partners and there is junk in the house, I'm going to recommend keep it out of view. One of the mistakes my clients often run into is they'll find that there's bowls of candy or there are chips on the counter and stuff like that. And when your brain sees it, you are more likely to be cued to eat it, or at least have to work on that whole thought process of, I want that, I deserve that, it's been a hard day, and then having to tell yourself no. So if you can't get it out of the house entirely, I highly recommend making sure that it is behind closed doors. And I don't just mean the cupboards you go into all the time. Put it somewhere that you will not see every time you open the cupboard to get something like the salt or, butter. Make sure it is put in a cupboard that is not one you go to regularly so you won't be cued to eat it. All right, thing number 7 that I do not do. I do not eat when I'm bored. Boredom is not hunger. Boredom is an emotion that does not feel good in some of our bodies. And so what it does is it starts becoming very intense. And we think, and what we have learned is that when you eat food, it dulls the sensation of boredom. So you do not feel as bored. You get the dopamine rush that comes from eating unplanned food. And usually that unplanned food is not whole foods. It's chips, it's crackers, it's, something you can grab with one hand and shove in your mouth, right? Like boredom is not hunger. And learning how to tell the difference between the two of those will have you eating healthy so much more consistently. So here's how I like to look at hunger. Hunger is something that comes in rolling waves, but will disappear if you get distracted. So for example, if I have, not eaten for a couple of hours and I all of a sudden notice my stomach is rumbling and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten in a couple of hours. I should probably eat pretty soon. But then I get distracted, maybe writing a newsletter or putting a post on Instagram. The hunger will go away. I'll completely forget about it. And that's how I can tell it's genuine hunger. It does tend to come in waves and it rolls in and rolls out depending on where your attention is placed. Now, boredom or any other emotion that you're eating because of, whether that be stress or that be frustration or overwhelm or loneliness or whatever it might be, I find personally that builds in intensity, meaning what starts out as like I could really use something to eat right now becomes, okay, I'm getting pretty hungry. Okay, this is intense. Okay, I feel lightheaded right now. Okay, I could literally eat the entire kitchen sink. And even if you're working and you're distracted, all that keeps coming back is that boredom hunger, and it escalates. That is how I tell the difference. If it is escalating endlessly and it is becoming a distraction to me, it's likely an emotion. If it is hunger, it comes rolling in waves. So I do not eat when I am bored because boredom is not hunger. Thing number 8 that I don't do, I don't aim for perfection. Now, as much as these are all like 11 things that I don't do and these are my rules, I also know that I am a human and sometimes I'm going to have sugar or flour when I planned not to do that, and it's not a problem. Where we get into trouble is when we have sugar or flour by accident, maybe, or even intentionally on accident, meaning like we didn't want to, but we just had something stressful or overwhelm and we just were like, oh, it doesn't matter right now. And we made a decision in the moment to eat something like that. Then you feel disappointed in yourself. You're like, oh, I told myself I was going to do better this time. I told myself I was going to go 7 days without doing that. Or I told myself not until the weekend, whatever it is. So you have that disappointment, right? Disappointment is a pretty heavy feeling. I feel it in my stomach. it feels really heavy. I don't like it. It's not enjoyable. I got maybe a little guilt in there. But then what we do is we layer in a second negative emotion. So instead of just feeling disappointed, you layer in shame. What is wrong with me? Why can't I do anything right? Or you layer in guilt. Or you layer in frustration. So instead of just feeling one negative feeling of disappointment, you now feel disappointment layered with shame, or layered with guilt, or layered with frustration. And you are getting a double negative experience here, and it feels very intense. And so we continue eating because we feel so bad about screwing up. Well, what if instead you just learned how to deal with disappointment? Feeling disappointment and recognizing that it's not something we need to escape. So this actually literally just happened to me the other day. I had a very intense day. I worked about a 12-hour day and I was a little stressed out at the end of the day. So I grabbed a bit of junk food and I was planning not to do that. So I was like, yeah, I'm a little disappointed in myself. I didn't want to do that. I now know for next time that that is something that triggers that kind of a response in me. And it's okay. I'm not going to have drama about it. It's not about being perfect. I just need to learn why that happened and what could I do differently next time. I don't deal with guilt. I don't deal with shame. It doesn't have to be perfect. When we get into that cycle of perfection, that's when we're like, oh, what's the point? I screwed up anyways. I might as well start again next Monday or start again next month, or why should I even be doing this? Do not aim for perfection. Take that off of your brain's to-do list. I can't imagine how much time people waste in guilt and shame about what they ate when it would take literally a tenth of the amount of time to learn from it and move on, right? So let that go. Let that off your plate. That is something you don't need to do. It doesn't help you eat healthy consistently. So why are we doing it? There's no purpose to it, right? All right. Thing number 9 that I do not do is I do not say yes to food I do not want to eat. It is my body. Okay, so I know this is something I often am coaching clients on, is that when their in-laws or their friends offer them food, or when someone, if you happen to be somewhere, offers you, or you're out with friends and they offer you something to eat that you don't want to eat because it's not in line with what you're working towards right now, and they say yes because they're so worried about hurting someone else's feelings or offending them. So I have now decided this is my body. I decide what's right for me and what goes in my body. And I am okay with offending people by saying no when they offer food. I also think it is fascinating that it is acceptable to push food on other people to make ourselves feel good or important, or like we are serving them. Right? So food is something that I honestly, I don't think there should be any problem around saying no. And I know there's a lot of cultural differences and things like that people take offense to, when you offer them food, or when they offer you food and you say no. But I want you to consider this. The way you feel in your body right now is controlled solely by the thoughts that you think in your own head. Now, the person that offered you food, how they feel is solely responsible from the thoughts they think in their own head. Now, that means that they have to think, oh, I'm so offended they didn't take my food to feel offended. And that is a choice for them. What you do or don't do, you cannot force thoughts in someone's head to create the feeling of I'm offended. So just recognize that. And if you're right now listening to this, you're like, wait a second, what? Your thoughts control your feelings. Their thoughts control their feelings. Your actions of saying yes or no to food does not control what goes on their brain. That is theirs. So learning this really allowed me to release a lot of the feelings I had around, what if I offend someone? Because you can't offend someone. All right. What you do is make decisions for your body, but it's best for you. And the way they think about that and the way they feel about that is up to them. Now, at the end of the day, obviously it's your family or your friends and your life, and you always get to decide how you want to say yes or no to certain things. But for me, I do not say yes to food I don't want to eat, ever. I'm okay with offending people by saying no, because it's not me offending them, it's their own thinking, right? So just consider that. It's something I'm really passionate about, and I know a lot of people struggle with. So it's worth doing the work on that and really being okay with someone creating a feeling in their body that doesn't work for them, because that is not up to you. All right, thing number 10, I do not snack. So I have 99% of the time 3 meals a day. And I have breakfast, I have lunch, and I have dinner. And I do not snack in between. I don't grab a handful of grapes or almonds while I'm sitting at my desk. I don't grab popcorn after dinner. I don't snack on food while I'm making dinner. I have 3 meals a day. The reason this is so critical is because I want to allow my blood sugar to fall between meals so that my insulin, the hormone responsible for putting blood sugar into the cells, it falls, right? And when we let insulin fall, that's when our body is able to access stored body fat as fuel instead of only accessing the sugar in our blood from our food all the time. Now, I want my body to be able to dine in on any excess body fat that I have between meals. I don't want to be the constant source of calories and energy all the time. So I do not eat between meals because I want my body to be able to use any stored body fat that I had stored from calories in the earlier meals, or even if it's just body fat you want to lose. The other reason I don't snack is because snacking is always an emotional decision. If your meals are balanced, meaning you are eating protein, fat, and fibrous vegetables at most meals, and you are eating enough calories, meaning you are not trying to starve yourself, your meals should easily be able to take you 4 to 5 hours until the next meal. So if your eating is balanced, what that is telling me is that that snack that you are grabbing for is an emotional decision. Either it is a time of relaxation at the end of the day, you're feeling fidgety at your desk, or we go back to that boredom we were talking about, or maybe you got a stressful text from somebody in your family. If you are eating because of an emotion, emotions do not have a place in eating. Snacking is an emotional decision, and because of that, and for my health and the stability of my energy and my blood sugar, I do not snack. All right, we're at the last one. The 11th thing that I do not do that helps me eat healthy consistently is I don't do food drama. I don't do it. If I eat off plan, which basically means I have my idea, my recipes, and everything I was going to eat during the week, and if I eat something that's outside of the plan, meaning I grab takeout on the way home one day, or I end up eating at my parents' house and it's not what I planned, I just get back on plan, and I keep this simple motto at the forefront of my brain: never miss twice. So if you wake up, you have a healthy whole food breakfast, lunch gets completely crazy and you have to grab McDonald's or something like that, and you're like, dang, that really wasn't what I wanted to eat today, then I get back on plan with dinner. Straight as that. Never miss twice. So missing twice would be you ate McDonald's at lunch and you said, today is total mess up. I'm going to have junk food and ice cream and all that for dinner too. I'll start again tomorrow. That's missing twice. I never miss twice. So if I eat off plan at lunch, I'm back on plan at dinner. Guilt, shame, and beating myself up, like we talked about, are not welcome in my brain, because I like to get to that place, and this is what I encourage with my clients, of being in food freedom. And it's so fascinating. We're sold this idea that food freedom is when you're eating healthy all the time and you're meal planning and all this stuff, but I don't think so. I just think that's a healthy form of food jail. You're still preoccupied with every bite going in your mouth, calories, macros, all of these things. Like, being preoccupied with healthy eating is also food jail. Food freedom to me is not thinking about it at all. So one of the examples that I love to use in this type of situation is the smoking example. So this will only work if you don't smoke. But if you do not smoke, do you spend all day thinking about not smoking? Do you think about the smokes you are not going to buy on the way home from work, or the cigarettes you are not going to smoke when your coworker or someone you know goes out for a smoke? Do you not think about getting your next cigarette in, and how are you going to manage that with your break at work? You don't think about not smoking all the time. It's the same way I'm talking about thinking about healthy food all the time is not really freedom. Freedom from not smoking is never thinking about it at all. You just don't smoke, you are not a smoker, and you never think about it. This is the same with food. You eat healthy. It's who you are. You are a healthy eater. You don't ever have to think about micromanaging all the little components of your health because it is just who you are. And this is what I call food freedom. So I don't do food drama. I don't do it positive food drama. I don't do negative food drama. I want you to consider this. If you eliminated the preoccupation with how you're eating, when you're going to start eating healthy again, what healthy eating is, what diet you should be doing, if you took all of that thought space and you got rid of it, and you had all of this space in your brain to think about other things, what could you get done in a day? What could you do? What could you use that brain power for? Could you use it to scale your business faster, create a new product suite, do better work with your clients or your customers? Could you be a better parent? Could you exercise more? Could you just enjoy your life better? I always really like to think that, like, what energy and space and creation in my life am I losing by constantly thinking about eating healthy all the time? So my always best recommendation is learn how to do it, be in the stage of consuming information, understanding it, trying it, refining your strategy. When you find it, set it, forget it, don't do the drama, and use your brain for something else in your life. So I hope this episode has been really interesting for you, because these are all things I do not do to help me eat healthy consistently. I don't calorie count. I don't know what my macros are. I don't mess with my sleep. I don't skip weekly meal planning. I don't make food a source of joy in my life. I don't keep junk food in the house. I don't eat when I'm bored. I don't aim for perfection. I don't say yes to food I don't want to eat. I don't snack, and I don't do food drama. So there's a summary of the 11 I just gave you. Now, what I would love is if you have, and I imagine you do, 2 or 3 of these where you're like, that is really interesting, I would invite you to try that one thing and eliminate it from your relationship with your food and your eating, and watch it create consistency for you. Really focus on just that one. Then, so maybe it's I don't snack. Maybe you just focus on eliminating snacking. Then when you have mastered that, couple weeks, you're not needing to think about it nonstop every moment to implement it. Then I want you to try another one. Maybe you don't keep junk food in the house. Maybe you don't skip weekly meal planning. Layer in one of these at a time and watch how beautiful your consistency with your food becomes. Now, what I want you to do is I would love for you to jump over to Instagram. My handle is @Tanessa Shears. Send me a DM and tell me which one of these things you are going to try out. Or better yet, tell me which ones you're already doing. Or maybe there are some things that you don't do that have made you consistent. I would love to be able to update my post on Instagram and add to this list. Don't be afraid to DM me. I love hearing from you guys. I love having conversations with you guys. Don't think it's weird to message me or like it's an inconvenience. Like, I genuinely love the conversation. I love seeing your tags on Instagram when you repost that you've listened to the podcast or you've heard your takeaways. Like, this makes what I do here for you, making this podcast, so rewarding. And so I would really appreciate that. And if this episode has impacted you or you've taken away something that shifted the way you think about food and about consistency and about nutrition, would you please head over to iTunes and leave me a review with your favorite thing about the podcast? You can just keep it simple, but what it does is it lets me help and reach other entrepreneurs just like you that really want to biohack our brain for more productivity, energy, and growth in your business. Thank you so much for listening in. Have a beautiful week, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hey, if you're hearing me right now, you might be an entrepreneur who feels like this.
Every single thing I had was going into my businesses, and there was no room left for me. And that means I wasn't eating right. My stress levels were just off the charts.
And I was getting these headaches, and I just felt like my health was not where it could be, where it should be.
Every day, I woke up really tired. And actually all day long I was tired and I couldn't understand why. And this was really in the way of my productivity.
I gained 20 pounds in 1 year, and that's mostly because of work stress. I've never seemed to have the control over my own health.
This podcast will help you with all of that. I'm sharing everything I know and everything I'm learning about how to get healthy, optimize your focus, and eliminate brain fog for faster business growth. But if you want someone to take all of these strategies, create a simple plan, and help you bring it to life with weekly coaching, I'd love to work with you in my Becoming Limitless program. This is the high-touch intensive program that I have created to coach entrepreneurs like you to get back on track with their health, get really good sleep, and start waking up feeling well-rested.
The biggest impact was really around overall well-being and sleep. So I started tracking my sleep, and it was very data-driven what we did. And I saw measurable progress and improvement week to week, month to month. Now I prioritize sleep. I have my whole family on a better sleep schedule.
You'll get my expert eyes on what you eat and help you develop a simple plan that sticks.
She helped me really figure out what works for me nutrition-wise. It's not just like some cookie-cutter plan. It's let's figure out what works best for your body and just optimize everything so I can show up at my best for my family, for my business, and just feel good.
And of course, have you showing up to your business with clear, focused thinking so you can scale your business faster.
Both my companies have grown over the last 2 years.
I'm waking up more energized and I'm able to be more productive in my business.
You're going to learn how to optimize your brain and your body using a combination of wearable technology, accountability, science-based biohacks, and weekly personalized coaching. I'm not only going to share what to do, but I'm going to teach you how to be consistent and develop the self-discipline that keeps this going for the rest of your life.
Coaching is where the magic really happens, because without coaching, you'll end up right where you started, because those blocks and those underlying patterns that got you here are still there. You have to really rewire the way you think, and that's what Tanessa helps you do. And it's good to have somebody who's got your back, who will hold you accountable and who will help you work through this process together.
I help you become a human being instead of just a human doing. You get to have your health and a successful business too. It doesn't have to be a choice.
So she really taught me a lot about how to balance being an entrepreneur and a business owner and also not sacrifice my health.
Yep, you can use the gold mine of information in these free episodes of the Becoming Limitless podcast to help you take control of your health, and you will feel more vibrant. But if you want, you can outsource your health to me and put your brain power back on growing your business. If you're ready to commit to upgrading your health and start feeling more energized within the next couple of months, click the link in the show notes and book in a consultation call with me.
My life today is not even recognizable with the life I had a year ago. And that's because of everything that Tanessa has put into the program. So if you're on the fence, get off the fence. Your future self will thank you for it.
Highly suggest working with Tanessa.
I would highly suggest doing a consultation call with her, doing her program, seeing what she's about, and seeing if she's a good fit for you, because she is definitely committed to her clients and she definitely knows what she's talking about.
So go work with Tanessa. She's really amazing and she's going to help you get your energy back.
Hit the link in the show notes and book in to talk with me about your health, and I'll see you on our first call.